There's nothing like your car. Sure, some are fancier, but yours is yours. The seats adjusted just the way you like it. The aircon set perfectly. At Hertz, we can't provide your car, but we can provide a great range, convenient locations and smooth service, plus 15% off the base rate for AA members. Think of Hertz as your car away from car. Visit hertz.co.nz/AA and book now. T's and C's apply.
You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
Time every Sunday, or around about this time every Sunday, we get the pleasure of the company of James McOnie. James, I had a dream last night that Mitchell Santner got 13 wickets, and then you turned up on the radio to talk about it.
I know, it's all come true, Piney. Your biggest dreams have come true. I'm here for you.
What about that?
Well, I know, that's the whole thing. It's not just a dream, it should be a movie, because talk about a ragtag team of misfits, a new captain, probably not that many superstars. I mean, Ratchin might end up being an all-time great. Tim Southey, getting a bit long in the tooth, and that's not even a teeth joke for him. But just a team that just bonded together, and with Mitchell Santner, I think they call it in the flow state, or feeling himself in the modern parlance, Piney.
Yeah.
There's an all-time performance. He's had his Doug Bracewell and Hobart test right there.
Don't you think it's great, though, that he is so understated in his celebrations? I mentioned before, I saw a great one on social, that when he got Virat Kohli out, he celebrated like a guy who just remembered where his car keys were.
Yeah, well, he looks like the villain out of Despicable Me. Is it Gru? Anyway, he's a little bit hunchbacked. He sort of he wanders around and just doesn't seem to raise a sweat. But I think when he got that run out, you could just see how well he was playing the game, and the loop and dip that he provided was perfect for that pitch. And I think that was the perfect setting for Santner. Sometimes you probably think when he's picked in those home tests that we should have a spinner that turns the ball more, but honestly, over there, he is perfect for those conditions, great fielder, and with that variation. But this is the whole thing. He's third on the all-time list now. Paddles, the great Sir Richard Hadley, is number one with those 15 wickets in Brisbane. Of course, Ajaz Patel is number two with 14 wickets and 10 in one innings, of course. That was a test the Black Caps lost. But to get those 13 wickets in a historic series win in India, it's right up there with one of the greatest individual performances in any code for New Zealand.
Yeah, totally agree. It's his, it's a good analogy with Doug Bracewell and Hobart, because he'll always be remembered for that. Hopefully, there's more to come from Mitchell Santner, but he'll always have Pune.
He will always have Pune, and you know what? Like the way that I think the Black Caps really sort of fit together well as a team. It just feels like a team. There doesn't seem to be many egos. It's just a really nice team to watch, and for Tom Latham, he's going to take a bow as well. That's an incredible first series as captain.
Absolutely right. Okay, let's go to the All Blacks. We were able to there was quite a bit going on screen yesterday, so I was sort of flitting between All Blacks, Black Caps, and a little bit of Wellington Phoenix and other A-League and that sort of thing as well. Did you take much away from the rather lopsided scoreline against Japan?
Well, Piney, we haven't pre-prepared this. We just, talk to each other on Sunday. I mean, I take some notes. But one thing I'd like you to do is think of who you think the most impressive All Black this season has been. First name, last name. And on the count of three, we'll both say his name, okay? You ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Wallace Satiti.
Correct.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Wallace Satiti.
Yeah, it is.
His season. And the way he's played against every opposition, and also Stephen Donald, the Beaver, providing some awesome analysis on Sky Sport last night, saying it's his late footwork that no teams can counter, and because the Japanese like to tackle quite low and lunge in low, he's just making mincemeat of them when he wants to. And so it was quite an interesting insight into his special set of skills, like Liam Neeson from Taken. And where he just, and maybe like Liam Messon as well from the Chiefs, he's got all those skills plus the physicality. I thought he was exceptional. And then there's two other aspects I'd like to talk about: Cam Roigard and the Type 5. Who would you like to talk about, Piney?
Well,
Cam?
No, both of those. But also, before we get that, can I go back to you with one of the games we just played there, or the game we just played when we say the same thing at the same time? So on my count of three, can you say the surnames of who you think will play 6, 7, and 8 against England next week? Are you ready? Have you got it in your head?
Wait. Who's? Oh, yeah, okay, I can. 6, 7, 8 in that order?
Yeah, 6, 7, 8 in that order. Surnames only, okay? 6, 7, 8 on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Satiti, Kane, Savia. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so we match up on that as well. This game, I think, is getting a bit old now. Can we talk about Cam Roigard?
Cam Roigard just announcing that he's back on the scene, also with the County Steelers, and you go, okay, that's just the NPC. But I tell you what, there's still tough defences to crack. But he looks in such imperious form, even after he bombed that try that you talked about previously. I just think he's gone away, not only worked at his game, he's worked at his interview game. How good was he that interview as well, just earlier in the hour? I mean, Piney, come on, that's a new Cam Roigard.
No, it is, because I remember him up for media when he first made the Hurricanes, and you're so right. He was kind of one of. He wasn't completely reticent with his answers, but they certainly weren't 45 seconds full of good analysis and common sense like the ones we just heard.
Yeah, so he's come back, stronger, faster, more articulate. He looks like he's on the verge of something special. So even though Cortez and Artima has got the inside running, I just wonder whether Roigard is going to stamp his mark on this tour. And look, I'm happy for the Northern Hemisphere to talk about Antoine Dupont being the greatest rugby player in the world. But maybe, just maybe, in Paris in a few weeks' time, he'll get dethroned by Cam Roigard, whose surname does mean King's Guard, doesn't it? In French? Anyway.
Let's go with it.
There you go. I didn't stick the landing like Cam Roigard. But he looks like he's just ready to do something special, even after breaking or equaling Bowden's Bronco record.
Now, were you happy to hear Wally Hoo-Ha sung again after the MPC final yesterday, after an extra 20 minutes of it?
Yeah, it was an epic final. I felt for the Bay. I'm Chief Spun all day. I really wanted Bay Plenty to make history there. They both deserve a trophy, don't they? But there can only be one. Wellington have been front running all season, and they're just an exceptional provincial side. I loved the fact that Jackson Garden-Bishop got to win after the tragedy of his brother Connor passing away earlier this year. There was a lot of storylines. I think Duplessis Kirifi just trying to battle away for recognition, really, and then Riley Higgins, an emerging talent. What will happen when Riley Higgins, when he gets into the All Blacks, which feels like it's going to happen very soon, and then Geordie Barrett comes back from Ireland, and they're both at the Hurricanes trying to battle over one jersey. That's going to be interesting to watch. But yeah, I was okay with it. Piney, you're Welly all day, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's my ringtone now. Welly Hoo-Ha is my ringtone. So not that I get a heck of a lot of phone calls, if I'm honest, but no, it's sitting there. And just on Riley Higgins. Yeah, Riley Higgins, Billy Proctor. How good's that going to be in the absence of Geordie Barrett for the Hurricanes next Super Rugby season? Hey, just before you go, Chris Wood. More goals for Nottingham Forest yesterday. Only Erling Haaland has more Premier League goals so far this season than Chris Wood. It opens up the inevitable conversation about where he sits among our all-time footballing greats. I don't necessarily want to have that conversation today, but how good's he going?
He's unbelievable, Chris Wood, and I think there's a lot of big clubs ruining the fact that they never signed him, because he was on the market there for a while for a pretty decent rate. And, he's been floating around those battler clubs, whether it's Burnley and this time Forest. But then I think he had times at Leicester as well. And there's another club he's there for a while as well. But look, the fact that Nottingham Forest picked him up and he keeps on banging in goals, even though you and I, Piney, have been part of the Chris Wood fan club for a while, I feel like the British are finally starting to take notice and talking him up. And I think there's two factors to that. One is Harry Kane's left and he's gone to play for Bayern Munich. So they're looking to talk about strikers and goal scorers. And they've got no option except to talk about Chris Wood and Erling Haaland together, which I love. So, and also, he is propping up a club that everyone was picking for relegation. And we did talk about this a few weeks ago, Piney. He is that good, Chris Wood, that he is changing everything for them. The fact they let a couple of stars go over the summer, I think, helps him. He's not just got his back to the goal or in the 6-yard box. He seems to share those duties now, and he scored one goal from outside the area, which blew everyone's mind. But this is the one thing, is that all those big clubs that didn't want him, Manchester United, whoever, they're behind Nottingham Forest right now, and it's all because of Chris Wood. Indeed,
and they're sixth, and that's the thing as well. With a team like Nottingham Forest, who at the start of the season, people say, okay, well, they might be a relegation contender. If you start well, they've got 16 points from their first 9 games. It's just such a good launching pad. It means that you can go through a bit of a trough, in the sort of mid-season around December, January, whatever it is, and not get a couple of wins, but you've got the base, which is usually enough to stay up. You compare it to the likes of Southampton, Wolves and Crystal Palace, who are really battling down the bottom. I think, what Chris Wood's doing for Forest right now will probably keep them up.
Well, I know, it's exactly right. So this is the thing, old-fashioned strikers, even the phrase is demeaning for someone who's that good at their job. They should have really thought about what their team needs, and even Pep Guardiola went for an old-fashioned striker in Erling Haaland. So I know he was mentioned a little bit in dispatches with some bigger clubs. I'm glad he's gone to Forest because he's going to be a legend there for a long time. And yes, he might not be as good as Winton Rufer, probably the only New Zealand footballer who can say he was better. But how about this? He's also maybe the best footballer out of the Waikato since Don Clark.
I love it. What a way to finish. Thanks, James. Enjoy the rest of your long weekend, mate. We'll chat again next Sunday. James McOnie, part of our Sundays.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.
In business, you need partners you can trust. NZI Insurance has been earning that trust by helping Kiwi businesses to grow and succeed for 165 years. If you're not insured with NZI, ask your broker why not.